What's up, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com, or, of course, if you are watching, on our rapidly growing YouTube channel, that is Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me, as he always does, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And AJ, back for, I guess it's been a year officially now since we've done these. We rolled these out last summer as well, but we're here for our off-season football ISO series. We got a bunch of clips from the spring game that we're going to kind of be rolling over individual players as we kind of analyze their game and talk about this season coming up. And for those of you, like I said, who stuck with our YouTube channel for a while, you remember a ton of videos we did last offseason on this very same thing. So excited to get this started. Started with Jacolby Criswell in this one. Before we dive into it, though, AJ, want to give a quick shout out to our podcast sponsor on this one. I'm sure a lot of people have heard them before if you follow us, NIL Fanbox. So, guys, real quickly, the spiel. For as little as $9.95 a month, UNC sports fans can now receive authentic autographed memorabilia from their favorite UNC men's and women's basketball players delivered right to their door. And in return, players earn money from their name, image, and likeness. Guys, awesome sponsorship. We're really excited to be a part of this. Founder Terry Comer, great guy. If you guys want to sign up, make sure you click the link below. You can save 10% for your UNC Tar Heels fan box with the promo code HEELS22. Again, just click, the link in the description below. Head over there, and that'll take you right to the website where you can sign up. Go ahead if you want to add anything, AJ.
Yeah, and also it's going to be football. Football is probably
football's coming as well.
Working on that, and they're going to have all sports. And just remember, it's authentic, it's officially licensed, and it has clear compliance at UNC. So all this stuff is above board, and it's a way for you to affect the NIL revenue of all Carolina athletes. It's
and that's
a great
huge
thing, man.
It really is. It's a really cool platform.
And
cool
they're going to have a lot of stuff too, not just the fan box. You're going to have chances to buy all kinds of stuff that are available through Tar Heel fan box, which is specifically what you would have before it gets out of the open market. So, you got the whole discount and everything. So it's a fantastic. I've had a lot of people in the last couple of weeks call me and ask about it, or text me, and some friends and some people who are fans of the site and that kind of thing. I'm trying to explain to them exactly what this is, because I think a lot of opportunities at memorabilia kind of exploded in March and early April.
Yeah, for sure.
People, anything that's done through Fanbox, if you're locked in, you're going to have first dibs. Yeah. And you're going to pay a price before it gets out in the open market when it starts exploding.
Yeah, it starts exploding big time. And not to mention, it gets delivered right to your door. So it doesn't get much better than that. Again, guys, click the link below, sign up, Heels22 to save 10%. Okay, AJ, let's start. We're going to start with Jacolby Criswell on this one. Obviously a guy that has kind of been the, I guess for lack of a better word, understudy to Sam Howell over the past couple of seasons. True freshman year in 2020, and then his sophomore season in 2021. Appeared in 6 games in his true freshman season, 4 games last season in 2021. So appeared in 10 games during his career. We got to see him during the spring game as well. We'll roll some clips out that I took from that. I believe we have an ISO out right now as well. If you want to go look at that ISO, go check that out on our YouTube channel. And I'm going to start with this because I think Criswell was a guy who really impressed me during the spring game. And I know spring practice was a little bit different this year because of Carolina's basketball's run in the tournament. It almost seems in a lot of ways, and I think a lot of media people who covered it, it almost seems in a way that it just kind of flew by because basketball was kind of the hot topic. So it was such a weird spring in that respect, because usually spring practice is something we're really, really on top of. But when you got Carolina basketball making a national championship game run, that usually takes a little bit higher precedent than spring football. But from what I saw from Criswell in the spring game, really, really impressed. For me personally, and some people may disagree with this, and that's fine, he was the most impressive quarterback that I saw on the spring game. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's better overall than a guy like Drake May or Connor Harrell, whatever. But for me, from what I saw in the spring game, he was the guy that impressed me the most with some of his drives. I believe he threw 2 touchdown passes that were really, really nice throws, looked in command out there, looked to have a little bit of a swagger about him that kind of reminded me of Sam Howell with the way he conducted himself a little bit, which I'm sure he got from playing under him for a couple of years. So, AJ, what are your thoughts on Criswell? Because obviously the quarterback battle is the hottest topic in Carolina football right now. And for me, I thought he was a guy that really impressed during the spring game, at least.
Well, it's the hottest topic because it's always going to be. It's quarterback. But there are a lot of battles in the program. And I think that's good, because we're not just going to talk about Criswell and Drake May over the next few months before they launch into fall camp. But I think that the whole Sam Howell thing you just mentioned is certainly there, that there are some similarities, but I think that's the kind of kid that they recruit. They recruit supremely confident young men. They don't want to have to coach up a kid's mind. They want to coach a kid who can coach his own mind, who understands the process in getting better from everything that you do when you first get into the program, adjusting to the speed, which is what Drake May was doing last spring, the speed of the game and lots of the different calls and the variety of defensive sets, that kind of thing. And then it just continues to kind of grow from there. Criswell has a year up on May because he came in a year before and he got game experience while Drake was still in high school in a non-fall season. It didn't occur because of COVID. He skipped his spring season. So Drake, by the time the fall comes around, it'll be almost 3 years, which Drake has really been the regular guy at quarterback, other than 1.5 against Wofford and a couple reps here and there. Now, Criswell has only had 94 reps, I think, in game at Carolina. So he hasn't played a lot either, but he's had the benefit of all those added practice reps. And what we've seen from him and what Mac Brown has said he's seen from him as a young man that has just fully grown into what the job would be. I think the staff is really comfortable with the quarterback situation. They just have to make a decision. So if they were to just spin around and just point at a guy, it ends up being Criswell, I think they'll be okay with that. If Criswell's their starting quarterback for Florida A&M and he rolls through the season, I think they believe they can have a successful season. Same thing goes for Drake May. So that they're going to have to ultimately make a decision. And it's going to be on who makes the right throws. And I think who gets the ball out of their hands the quickest. And because that was an issue a year ago. For all the things that Sam Howell was fantastic at, he did hold on to the ball a little bit too long. So that's been a point of emphasis. And that's something that Jacolby talked with us about when we talked with him after the spring game. He was really open about a lot of stuff. And I sidebar for a moment. He reminded me of Russell Wilson, the way he talked about the game. And I know people get sick of me bringing up Russell because I compared Sam to Russell in a lot of ways because there are similarities. Well, I see the same thing with Criswell. And Criswell maybe kind of reminds me a little bit more of Russell. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Russell Wilson. It's just some similarities. I'm giving people a visual that maybe haven't really seen him play much. But I like what he could do. He's a high IQ guy. He's a cerebral player. He's a guy who's connected. Like there's 11 dudes on the field on defense. He kind of knows where he's one of those quarterbacks that knows where they all are at all times. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of getting rid of the ball quickly and making the throws. His teammates say that he can make all the throws. Josh Downs says he's got the strongest arm he's ever seen. Mm-hmm. Criswell told us after the spring game that he threw the ball in high school 75 yards. Now, there's usually no need to do that in a college game, and you don't want to sit around doing that, joshing around with teammates about who can throw the ball the furthest, because then next thing you know, you tear something in your shoulder and you're screwed. Mm-hmm. However, the arm strength is there. The short arm strength is there with the zip. The long ball strength is there for sure. He's got everything that you would want in a starting quarterback. He's not as tall as Drake, but Sam was 6 feet as well, maybe wearing thick soles. He was 6 feet, and he had pretty fair amount of success too. So I think they're in good shape with Criswell. If he's ultimately the guy, I'm not sure he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So whatever ends up happening, I believe he'll be a starting quarterback for a good Power 5 program, whether it's North Carolina or somewhere else. And the only reason I bring up somewhere else, I normally wouldn't do that, but Mac does it all the time. Mm-hmm. Mac always talks about how, look, quarterbacks move.
Especially
we know that. So, because I'm not a big proponent of people talking about, well, this guy might hit the portal, that guy might hit the portal. I think that's so unfair to the kids. However, it is an obvious thing when it comes to quarterbacks. Just look at the University of Georgia the last 4 years. Yeah. So it happens. So that's one thing that is okay, I think, to discuss as being part of the factor. I don't know when or if that'll be with him, but I do think it would be up in the air. So he's good enough to start at a lot of places, good programs in Power 5, including North Carolina, if he ends up winning the job.
Definitely. Last thing, we're going to keep these short. We're trying to keep these around 10-minute mark, which is going to, good luck to us on that one, AJ, because we always go longer than we want to.
We never do that.
So last thing I want to ask you real quick before we wrap this one up. Do you think, when you look at a guy like Drake, you look at a guy like Jacolby, I think they're two really talented quarterbacks. I think they can make the throws. Maybe somebody has a little bit higher end in terms of a little bit stronger of an arm than one, but I think they can both have shown that they can make throws. They can both get out of the pocket and run with their feet. They're both athletic guys. Do you think maybe the thing that maybe Jacolby Criswell could have a leg up on, I'm not saying he's, ahead in the race right now, it's not what I'm trying to apply, is the fact that he's been around the program, is the fact that he was really directly under a fantastic, the best quarterback in Carolina history in Sam Howell for a couple of years. Do you think maybe that's something that could be an advantage for him going into the thick of the battle come fall?
I think it has been an advantage, but I believe that Drake has closed the gap on that. He's at the point now where he's had enough reps, and they threw these guys into live fire in the spring. Mac was very open about how they put all kinds of pressure on them. They didn't want to wait to Florida A&M and App State and Georgia State and then Notre Dame before they found out what these guys could do, for them to face situations. They wanted them to face all the situations. Now, you can only simulate so much in practice, but you have to do it a lot and throw it at them. And there was a lot of contact. There was a lot of physicality in the spring. You're not allowed to hit the quarterbacks, but they inadvertently would get hit every once in a while. And Mac was glad about that because he wants to see them get up. So if you're thinking about how long it's been since these two guys have taken regular pops in a game, it's been a long time. So they need to get hit. They need to fall down. Their teammates need to see them get right back up and get right back into the next play. And they did a lot of that. I think the gap's been on that. I think where the advantage that Criswell has is just that he's seen more live snaps. Almost all of Drake's live snaps were Wofford. Okay, now Criswell's gotten a lot of FCSs as well, but he threw a touchdown pass against Georgia State last year, connected with Bryson Nesbitt. He's seen bigger, faster fronts in live games, and he's seen Carolina. And what's interesting is he's now seen extensively the stuff that Bateman threw at them when they would go 1s-on-1s or 2s-on-2s. Now he's seeing the stuff that Chiswick shows. So he's spent a lot of time adjusting the different types of fronts and defensive sets that he's looked at UNC. Drake only had a lot less time with Bateman, so the adjustment maybe wasn't as significant. So the staff is seeing how he handles that kind of stuff. So I think in the end it's probably a wash, especially by the time they get to fall camp. They open August 27th against Florida A&M. And I believe that by August 15th at the latest, that's my number. That's not inside information. I got to clarify that. Sometimes people think that I'm barking out a lot of stuff from inside. That's not the case here. I believe, and I'm using the template as 2019. That Sunday afternoon when we went up there were about 7 of us that showed up for a presser with Mac. And that's when he announced that Sam Howell would be the starting quarterback. So the 15th would be about 12 days. It would give the several more practices to just kind of be the guy, get 75% of the reps, really get up to game speed, and then have the full game week prep. That's my projection. I'm not going to tell you in this podcast who I think it's going to be, but I think that if it is Jacolby Criswell, North Carolina is going to be well positioned to have a quality season. It was Drake May, same thing.
Agreed. Good stuff, AJ. We'll go ahead and wrap this one up on the Jacolby Criswell ISO. Like I said, we're going to be rolling a lot of these out over the offseason. For those who've watched our YouTube channel, you know exactly the type of videos to expect with these, because we did a lot last summer as well. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Make sure you guys check out NIL Fanbox one more time. Heels22 is the promo code to save 10% on your Tar Heel Fanbox. Just click the link below. It'll take you right to the sign-up page. Just make sure you enter that promo code Heels22 to get that discount. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, so you know every single time we upload. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.